Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you've been following strategy, formerly known as MicroStrategy, then you've probably noticed that the conversation surrounding the company has changed dramatically over the past few days. For a long time, Strategy was viewed as the company that never stopped buying Bitcoin, no matter what happened in the market. Investors admired its aggressive approach, and many even considered it the ultimate Bitcoin treasury company. But now, a series of recent developments has investors asking a very different question. Is the company's financial strategy being tested in ways we've never seen before? And could these recent events force management to rethink how it finances future growth? Today we're going to break everything down in simple terms, explain why investors are paying such close attention, discuss both the risks and the opportunities, and look at what could happen next. So let's get started. For years, Strategy built its reputation around one simple idea. Instead of keeping large amounts of cash on its balance sheet, the company chose to accumulate Bitcoin as a long-term strategic asset. Management consistently expressed confidence that Bitcoin would appreciate over time, making it the centerpiece of the company's financial strategy. That approach attracted a unique group of investors. Some bought the stock because they believed in the company's software business, while many others viewed it as a leveraged way to gain exposure to Bitcoin without directly owning the cryptocurrency. As Bitcoin prices climbed over previous years, that strategy appeared extremely successful. Rising Bitcoin values pushed the company's asset base higher, and investor confidence remained strong. However, financial markets rarely move in a straight line. Recently, attention has shifted away from how much Bitcoin Strategy owns and towards something completely different: its ability to manage cash obligations while continuing its long-term investment approach. One of the biggest talking points has been the performance of the company's preferred securities, particularly STRC. After experiencing notable market pressure, many investors started asking whether this represents a temporary market reaction or something more meaningful. Preferred securities often receive less public attention than common shares, but they play an important role in corporate financing. Investors who own these securities generally expect regular dividend payments, and maintaining confidence in those payments becomes critical. That brings us to one of the most discussed developments. Reports indicate that Strategy recently sold a portion of its Bitcoin holdings to help meet certain financial obligations, including preferred dividend requirements. While the amount sold may be relatively small compared to the company's total Bitcoin position, the symbolic importance of the move has generated significant discussion. Why? Because for years, many investors associated Strategy with a philosophy of holding Bitcoin over the long term. Any sale naturally attracts attention because it appears different from the messaging investors had become accustomed to. Now, it's important to understand that companies regularly adjust their balance sheets and manage liquidity in different ways. Selling assets isn't automatically a sign of financial distress. In many cases, it's simply part of responsible capital management. Even so, the market has interpreted this decision in different ways. Some investors believe management is simply ensuring that obligations are met without disrupting broader operations. Others wonder whether this signals increasing pressure on the company's funding model if market conditions become more challenging. This difference in interpretation explains why the debate has intensified so quickly. Another issue receiving attention is the relationship between Strategy's market value and the value of its Bitcoin holdings. During periods of strong investor enthusiasm, the stock has often traded at a premium because investors expected future Bitcoin accumulation and continued growth. More recently, however, market pricing has reflected greater caution. Investors are paying closer attention to financing costs, liquidity management, and capital allocation rather than focusing only on the size of the Bitcoin treasury. That's an important shift in market psychology. Instead of asking, "How much Bitcoin does Strategy own?" investors are increasingly asking, "How sustainable is the company's financial structure if market conditions remain difficult?" Those are two very different questions. Analysts have also started debating whether Strategy should temporarily slow its pace of Bitcoin accumulation. Supporters of this view argue that preserving liquidity and maintaining financial flexibility could become increasingly valuable during uncertain periods. Others disagree. They argue that the entire Strategy investment thesis is based on long-term conviction in Bitcoin. From that perspective, changing course too dramatically could undermine the very strategy that attracted investors in the first place. As always, markets rarely produce unanimous opinions. At the same time, public criticism from some well-known market commentators has added even more attention to the situation. Whenever a company becomes highly visible, strong opinions, both positive and negative, often emerge. Some critics believe the financing structure carries meaningful risks if capital markets become less supportive. Supporters respond that Strategy still controls one of the largest corporate Bitcoin holdings in the world, giving management valuable financial flexibility if needed. Both viewpoints continue to shape investor sentiment. Another factor worth remembering is that Strategy is not solely a Bitcoin company. The business still develops enterprise software, analytics solutions, and AI-powered business intelligence products that serve corporate customers around the world. While Bitcoin often dominates the headlines, the operating business continues signing customers and developing products. For some investors, that diversification provides additional confidence. For others, Bitcoin remains the primary reason they own the stock. Looking ahead, several developments deserve close attention. First, investors will likely monitor how the company manages future dividend obligations. Whether management relies on additional financing, internal cash generation, or selective asset sales could influence market confidence. Second, market participants will closely watch any announcements regarding future capital raises or adjustments to financing plans. Third, regulatory developments and any legal updates could affect investor sentiment, especially if they influence how future securities are structured or marketed. Finally, Bitcoin itself remains one of the biggest variables. Because Strategy's balance sheet is heavily influenced by cryptocurrency prices, major movements in Bitcoin can significantly impact investor expectations. If Bitcoin strengthens, confidence in the overall strategy could improve. If volatility continues, discussions about liquidity, funding, and capital management may remain front and center. Ultimately, this situation represents an important moment for Strategy. Some investors view the recent developments as nothing more than a temporary challenge during a volatile market cycle. Others believe they highlight longer-term questions about balancing aggressive Bitcoin accumulation with ongoing financial obligations. The coming quarters will likely provide much clearer answers. Management's decisions regarding liquidity, financing, shareholder returns, and future Bitcoin purchases could shape investor confidence for months to come. As always, every investor should perform independent research, understand both the risks and opportunities, and avoid making decisions based solely on short-term market headlines. Markets can change quickly, and long-term investing often requires patience, discipline, and careful analysis. That's all for today's update. If you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest updates on Strategy, Bitcoin, and the stock market. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. This is not financial.